ask the audience for a moment who has done, a marathon, a triathlon, but you've done that back to back. I mean, let's talk about your most recent adventure. You went across the USA. Could you share a little bit more about that?
Yes, I'm actually just back from the US for my last big adventure, Trans-America twice.
Yes.
I cycled on my bike from New York to Los Angeles, and then I went back in 100 ultramarathons in 100 days, and the New York Marathon to finish it once I was already there. And it was just fantastic, and it's 3 weeks ago, so I'm still recovering, but all good.
Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to speak to you about. What is the preparation to go about doing these extreme different challenges and adventures that you do? Do you have a specific preparation process?
Well, I'm not like a normal athlete who has like the Olympics or the World Championship, and there you have to be at 100% at peak performance. For me, it is like I have to be in very good shape, but I reach my peak performance during the project. Okay. So I just do a lot of sports. In 2 years, I actually cycled more than 50,000 kilometers a year. Wow. So it's a lot of sports. And now I do, like in the weeks before, I do like 40 to 50 hours of sports per week, and all disciplines. A lot of running, of course, for a project like this.
Yes. And where does that passion for sports come from?
Well, my passion is for sports and for adventure. And from a small age, I was always doing sports, always doing adventures. It's also a bit of a family thing. My granddad was a snake hunter in Africa, so I did this from a small age. And I was during university, actually. I had a lot of time, but no money, and wanted to see the world, so I cycled around the world. And that was like the best thing I'd ever done. And then I thought, like, well, how fast can you cross continents? And then one project led to another one. Yeah,
and I mean, 4 world records, that's incredible. I want to know what's going through your mind as you're embarking on all of these adventures. We spoke about the preparation process, but when you're doing it, I'm imagining that there must be some obstacles where you're like, whew, this is getting a little bit tiring. So what are you telling yourself? Because a lot of it, of course, is mental. So how do you overcome those challenges mentally and then also physically with the strain that it's having on your body?
Well, for me, 95% is mental. It is just if you do a project like this, I have to wake up every morning and tell myself, yes, today I want to run an ultramarathon, today I want to cycle 250K, whatever the conditions are. And I need the physical preparation, of course. The thing is, physically, I'm never fast. I'm always in the fat-burning area, and then if I eat my 8,000 calories a day, it's also eating competition.
Wow.
Then this is good. And mentally, the thing is, well, you need passion. You really have to want it badly enough. I visualize things. I have like it's always positive, and in the day-to-day business, I break it down into very small goals. So this is like if you think like, oh, I've done 5 ultramarathons, everything hurts. 95 are still coming. This is not so great, but I concentrate on. And in a few K, I get to a village and I get something to eat. I get ice cream, and it's not far away. And then I get closer and closer.
Yeah, a much-deserved reward that's waiting at the end of it. And with that mindset, is that something that you've always had, when you were younger, growing up, or is that something that you've had to develop throughout this journey?
I would say actually both. I grew up in a family where I had the support, whatever I wanted to do, and I didn't have it easy. So if I had a crazy idea, my family always said, well, you try it out. And then, so there is this basis, but then of course you can develop your mindset and everything. And I always say, run towards problems, which means you need to get out of the comfort zone. You need to try things. And with every project you successfully manage, you get stronger because you realize, if I have a challenge now, I can think, well, you have been crossing the Sahara with food poisoning, or you have crossed Siberia in winter, so we will find a solution.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you constantly have to challenge yourself. You constantly have to get out of the comfort zone. Yeah. And then you develop this mindset how you deal with those challenges.
And speaking of challenges, you mentioned a couple just there. I mean, what are some of the craziest things that you've encountered whilst on your journey?
Well, I would say the craziest adventure, and for me still the one I was the proudest of, is the one I did 3 years ago, the first triathlon around the world.
Yes.
And the reason is, when I started this, I was basically like a kind of a pro cyclist, and I was a good runner, but I really wasn't a swimmer. I had, well, in German we call it Seepferdchen, which is like this certificate you do as a child. So I really couldn't swim, and I jumped into I did like a bit of preparation. I jumped into the Adriatic Sea and swam 460 kilometers without a boat next to me. And this is like where I really had no idea what's coming. And then everything changed afterwards too. I had to change my route due to the pandemic. I crossed Siberia in winter on a bike, and I went across Mexico. And this is still the adventure where everything went wrong that can go wrong. And in the end, everything still went exactly like it should do.